Today uh, we will complete the concepts of program development life cycle or program development cycle and input and output processing. After some of the time, we will see this particular processing. Of course, input will also be covered how to read input from the keyboard. If things will be permitted us, time will be permitted us, we will also take the operators. Okay, if time will be permitted. So likewise, we will complete this one. But today, let us go ahead and talk about everything gets over, everything gets over. Yeah, software development. I mean, program development process or software development process, whatever the name of the concept, both are same. So here, the software development process will be includes so 7 different kinds of steps. 7 different kinds of steps which are being included in the program software development step here. The process of planning and organizing of a particular program, whatever the program you could consider, whatever the software application you could consider, if you want to plan it and organize it in a particular way, then that is called as software development or program development. Software development in the sense collection of programs will be integrated together in a single entity. That single entity or single application is called as a software. Okay, and here 7 different kinds of steps are there: analysis and planning. The first one is called analysis and planning. Second one is called requirements gathering. So after analyzing it's over, then you have to gather the requirements to develop your project or your software or program. Then followed by design of the prototype, how you are supposed to work out that particular prototype after requirements has been gathered, how that could be. So you have to make a prototype or a blueprint of that prototype, and then development phase. Then after taking this particular blueprint, so directly it will be take in terms of development. After development is gets over, then we will go ahead with the testing, so that the program or software is being executed for all kinds of activities or not. After that, deployment. So it is not development actually; it is a deployment, and finally, so maintenance and updates. Maintenance and updates. It is a deployment. DEPLOYMENT. I made a small mistake here while I haven't seen this one. So it is not development; it is a deployment. Deployment, and finally maintenance and update. Okay, these are the 7 steps which have been included. I may be combine so these two. Let us see how this could be. These two. Let us see. So first and foremost operation is analysis and planning. How this analysis and planning is being done here. So now this software development life cycle, otherwise a program development life cycle, could be always coming to your notice when any client or any end user or any stakeholder will be come forward to you, since you are a software developer. So will come forward to you and ask you that please develop this particular project or develop my manual system to computer system. If any requisition will become to you, then you will be sit together with your team. How many number of people are there with you? With your team, you have to sit together and have to start your working on your program development process. If you don't have any requisitions from anybody, no need to do anything. No need to do anything here. However, if any customer or if any client or if any stakeholder will be requested you to do the project, then the first and foremost thing will be this. Okay. And look at this. Planning is usually undergone many sub processes. First one is alignment. So your software development environment is always supporting for only developing mobile apps, for example. If people are developing only Android or iOS mobile apps, but a client will be come to you and they will ask you to develop a desktop application, otherwise browser application, web browser application, or a web application. You could not do it because you are not intended for web browsing applications or web applications or so desktop applications. You could not do it. Okay. And if a second stakeholder or customer will come to you and develop a mobile application for his business. Yes, you are the person who, or you are the team who will develop all mobile applications. Then you will take that particular project into consideration. Then you have to start the work. So that is what about the mission and the goals. That is what the mission and the goals. Mission in the sense you are always trying to work out with only some kind of applications, then people will come to you and ask you, then you could develop. If it is not your case, then you could not. So that is what the point we have to consider about. So mission and the goals of your how the project will be satisfy your mission and your goals of your project. I mean your company. First of all, you need to look into that particular matter. If everything will be satisfied, then you will go ahead with whether yes, mobile application development has been given by me to develop for my company. Then immediately you have to look into your system that number of resources are available. I mean, to develop. So my requirements, number of people are there with you, and whatever the tools I may be required. So I told that you please develop my mobile application should be compatible for Android, Windows, and iOS. I may be ask you something like that. Whether all tools are available. So all tools in the sense mobile Android environment is there with you, iOS environment is there with you, Microsoft environment is there with you. You have to check it out. And the people who are expertise in Android, iOS, and Microsoft, all the people are there with you. Then, so you can start. You can allocate this one. This is the second point you need to consider. And third point will be scheduling. So how many days it could be? It could be. I mean, finish up this particular project. How many days it could be set into your company. So how many days it could be finish up this particular project. So this could also be taken into consideration while so any stakeholder come to you to do any kind of application with your company. So then followed by next point will be cost estimation. How much cost is going to incur? How much cost is going to be incurred for development of this particular project? For example, so a mobile application which could be used to develop in 3 different domains: iOS, Android, and Microsoft Windows. Then you maybe take so some for each and every development environment. You have to recruit some 7 to 8 people. So, for example, 8 people, 24 people must be included into your project, and a production team must be there, and the number of systems are supposed to be purchased by you, and of course all softwares which are being used for this development is open source only, so there is no cost for that. You have to pay the salaries of the people. Everything will be so taken into consideration of this particular step. So analyze and the planning will be talk about whether this could be aligned with your mission and goals. So resource availability will be available properly or not. How many days it could be taken to complete the process, and then what is the cost estimation? How much amount of so money will be incurred for developing this particular cost? Everything will be taken into consideration. After analyzing everything, you have to write one particular document. The document is called as scope of work. Scope of work in the sense. So, is there any possibility to perform the operation? If possibility will be there, what kind of things you are supposed to take into consideration? Everything will be so put into one particular document. That document is called as scope of work, and remaining all other steps. Remaining all other steps. Uh, could be explained slowly. It could not be possible, I think. It is not programming. If it is programming, yes, I could. It is theory, actually. It is theory. Of course, I am explaining myself. I am explaining very slowly. Okay, I'll go still more slow. Still more slow. Okay, scope of work. This is a blueprint of your entire document. This is the blueprint of entire document. After completion of this particular phase, you could get one document. Based on this document, you have to perform all other operations. Okay, so within this particular phase, what you are trying to achieve, number one, so whether mission and goals will be properly aligned with your customer, and number of resources, how many people are there, how many computers are there, will be there with you, and how many days it will be take to complete, and what is the cost which could be included to finish up that particular project. So this document will be shows you like okay. Then so in this particular process, while doing this particular operation, so many number of departments are supposed to be included. So project managers, first department, developers, the people who are actually developing your project, then operations, how much amount will be so incurred. So to estimate the particular cost, some operations operations will be there, and security. So cryptography and network security to be considered after completion of your document or your application. And stakeholders, time to time, you have to communicate with the clients or stakeholders. What is your expectation after completion of some? Some 20%. You have to show to the stakeholder whether it is the expectation of you or not. If it is the proper expectation, yes, it could be. Otherwise, you have to change the entire structure one more time. For every 10% or 15%, you have to call the client and have to communicate with the client whether this is the proper expectation of you or not. If it is not, you have to change it. Something like that. Many number of departments have included for doing or for developing so-called application. Then followed by second operation is requirements. Second phase of your software or program development is requirements. What are the requirements here? So after analyzing each and everything, so you have to identify the technical requirements of your project. What are the technical requirements in the sense? So whether you have been developing any app or web design, that is user interface design. Otherwise, a new application which never ever is existed in the world. That such kind of application you are implementing. Otherwise, already one application is there for that particular application. So you are expected to include one more extra feature. If you consider your mobile phones, so for every 15 days or 20 days, you may be get some update. If you install that update, so-called feature will be gets enhanced. There may be emphasized so-called operation which is not available in the previous time in our mobile. So such kind of features are incorporated. Either of these you need to identify first. Already we have identified, but one more time you have to identify. Then followed by based on the previous output, so SOW, scope of work. The scope of work will be asked many questions in requirements. Question number one, what is the problem you are supposed to solve? Which kind of problem you are supposed to solve? I wanted to implement one application for education system. Education system in the sense, many number of operations will be there in education system. First one is admissions of the students. Second one is class academics, class assignments. Class is being assigned to the faculty members. Assignments will be given to the students. Evaluation of assignments, and the mark assignments, attendance, everything, and examination issues, and followed by fees issues, and followed by transportation issues, followed by hostel issues, followed by grievances. If anybody is being bothered, any other people, how could you solve those queries? Something like that. Many issues will be there. Whether what kind of problem which could be solved so using this particular application. That could be identified first. Then followed by who is going to use it after the completion of this development, who will be using it and why it could be used. Okay, and then so what sort of data and input data and output is needed for this particular project. Of course, not exactly project. If you consider your program, what kind of data input is required and what is the process which is required, which is to be done by you, and what is the output you have to done. So that could be identified. Then followed by, so will you need to integrate any other extra tools? Any other extra tools are required, or the application? So APIs will be included for our project or software. So something like this. All these questions must be take answers and requirements. Okay, and how will you handle security or privacy? Security in the sense, if you take any internet banking application, you have a user number. Let me say you have a customer number followed by several stages of security. OTP will be there, password will be there, and some many other security reasons are there. So whether all those things are supposed to be handled by you in a proper way. So like this, everything will be checked here. After getting complete information of all these, you have to fill out your scope of work document. You have to fill out everything here. After filling this one, then you will be taking technical requirements and testing terms and conditions of this particular work here. Okay. So this is the second one. Second one is requirements. You have to gather the complete information regarding to the application which is going to develop by you. Okay. Then followed by designing and prototyping. After completion of requirements are there in our hand. So what exactly we are trying to do is there with you. Then so you have to start your work. Okay, so this operation will be done by programmers, software engineers or programmers. They will be design the particular project, and they will be design what actually they are supposed to do here is functionality and flow, data flow of your application. Not they are supposed to aesthetics of your application. Aesthetics in the sense, so how the application will be looks like, and whether this application will be provide some output in a graphical way. That is not the important point we need to consider in terms of designing and prototyping. They are always concentrate on, so what is the functionality of your application and how the data will be flow from which place to which place data will be flow will be identified. Okay. And so programmers also determine how the program will be work for a particular task. For a particular task, how the program will be work. It's also be determined. And then followed by, this is also called as so coding. This particular stage also will be called as coding. Within this particular coding, how they could be done here in the sense, they will be always take the ideas from the customer, and those ideas must be so written in terms of any programming language and validate them whether they will be perfectly working or not. Perfectly working or not. Okay, they will be validated. So after completion of this one, they will become to software development. So software development in the sense they will be take all those operations what they have done, because the database designers will be done the database design, application programmers will be done their applications, and user interface people will be done their front end application. So something like that. Many number of departments are doing their own job here. So those job will be comes into development stage. Okay, they will be finished the so requirements what they have specified within the scope of work document. They will be worked out within that particular thing, and this step also be called as so coding phase. Okay, and then followed by integration. After so software development is always done parts by parts. As like a cinema also, I mean, shooting of that particular cinema will be taken so part by part. After that, people will be edit that particular movie in a particular order, which will becomes for 2.5. I mean, 2.5 hours or 3 hours, something like that. Similarly, here also many number of programs will be so done by many people. All those things will be so come into, I mean, taken into one particular application. So those that application we will progressively in Python also progressively we will know how this could be done. So okay, all those things will be integrated each other, and they will be so taken these kind of things. In integration, testing will be done. Testing in the sense after developing the specific operations, whether input will be taken, proper input will be taken, and the proper outputs will be generated. Or are there any still are there any logical errors? If logical errors will be there, those errors will be called as bugs. Whether those bugs will be fixed properly or not. User is expecting one kind of output, but you are giving other kind. Then that is called as a bug. Okay, whether they will be fixed properly or not, everything will be taken into consideration by this particular testing here. Okay, and whatever the features you have mentioned in the scope of work SOW document, whether everything will be satisfied or not properly. After doing all those things, the testers will be go with in-depth testing. Okay, any low-level errors will be available or not, they will be checked. If everything will be get sober, they will be sent to deployment. They will be sent to deployment. Deployment will be always done. So the deployment stage will be also called as production stage. Production in the sense, yes, I have prepared complete application without any error. All kinds of 360-degree kind of so inputs will be checked in a proper way. That will be launched to the people, launched to the users. Okay, that will be launched to the users. So it has been taken by the users. Okay, that is the stage is called as deployment. Okay, and of course this is also called as a production stage. This stage is also called as a production stage. Okay, once it has been producted, it will be sent to production stage. So it will be available for all users, not exactly the development people. All users it could be available. Okay, and then finally, last and final thing is maintenance. Maintenance in the sense after developing everything, so you have to take care about that particular application for at least 5 to 15 years. 5 to 15 years you have to take that particular application. Okay, so these things will be during as far as in development stage, you may be checked for some number of so some number of operations, but while using all other customers, they maybe have their own doubts. So whether those doubts will be valid doubts or not, if it is valid, then they will be sent back to the development team, and they have to implement those also. Those also customized. Nowadays, you people have heard a particular word that is customization. That customization will be done in maintenance. As far as the application point of view, look at this. Customer request. If it is okay, then go to analysis. At analysis part, you maybe have some kind of question. Again, you will be come back to customer request. What customer has requested here. You will go back and check it out. Check out with analysis. If analysis will be gets okay, then we'll go to design. After designing, you have any question, then again you have to go to this particular analysis place. Otherwise, again you have to go to the customer request phase. Whether what kind of design he was expected, what you are designing, everything will be checked. Afterwards, implementation. Afterwards, integration. Then followed by maintenance. Then followed by maintenance. So look at this. As far as cost incurring of this particular thing, analysis will be taking very less cost. Designing also very less cost. Implementation is also very less. Integration also very less. You could observe maintenance will be taken huge amount of cost. All these issues will be taken approximately some 40%, but maintenance will be taken 60%. Let me give you pie chart also. Look at this. So So analysis will be 8% of cost, designing will be 8%, implementation might be 8%, whereas integration might be 8%. But look at this, how much how much thing has been given for maintenance. Maintenance is 68% of cost will be incurred in maintenance, because daily people use your application. They may be asked many questions. So based on those questions, you have to implement the same queries again and again, again and again. So implementing a maintenance will be taken very, very huge cost, rather this implementation stage. Okay, 1 to 6 pages will be taken very less amount of time or less amount of cost also, but maintenance will be approximately 5 to 15 years, and it will be includes huge amount of money. Okay, so this is what software or program development process. Okay. Now, okay, I will discuss this one. Next concept I will discuss by tomorrow, because next class, because that is not related to software development or program development. It is a completely theory. So I'd like to stop my class at this moment, and by Monday we will complete escape sequence, operators, input and output. Everything must be completed. After the Monday class, by Tuesday onwards, we'll enter into programs.